Добрый день. I will endeavour to learn more Russian. This is my first visit to not just Moscow, but Russia itself. But I'm having a lovely time in this very beautiful city. So I will speak for a few minutes about the LSE aspect of the programme. So in Tamara's introduction, she was discussing the Higher School of Economics component. So, first of all, thank you very much for taking the time on a Sunday to come to this open day. And indeed, I think this is an excellent example about sort of data science, business analytics, in that you are here collecting data, collecting information. You clearly have some interest in the programs being offered here, but no doubt a lot of uncertainty, a lot of doubts, a lot of questions. And hence you're coming to information sessions such as this to collect data, maybe not numbers in a spreadsheet, but information about the dual degree program. And after today's event, you will weigh up, analyse this information and make a decision about whether this is the right degree opportunities for you. Of course, our role is to convince you of the merits of these programs and why we strongly recommend these to you. So who am I? This is me. I did my PhD at the LSE, the London School of Economics. My plan when I started the PhD was to go on and pursue a career in banking, in finance, because that's where the money is. However, as a PhD student, I started doing teaching of classes to undergraduates. I fell in love with teaching, and so I've been at the LSE as a faculty member ever since. So I have various job titles they give me at LSE. We love titles and status in academia. This is the latest one I really like, Associate Academic Director. In short, this allows me to travel around the world to our many partner teaching centres for a variety of purposes. Marketing, teaching students during our revision sessions, and general promotion of our programs. So, a little history lesson. You will see on these nice booklets various logos. I think they're really nicely produced. At the top of here, 3 logos: Higher School of Economics, University of London, and the London School of Economics. Inevitably, there is a sort of relationship, a connection between them. So the University of London itself, we call this the awarding body. So the degree certificate of the London component of the dual degree is indeed awarded by University of London. We are one of the oldest universities in the UK, Oxford and Cambridge a bit older than us. This may sound somewhat old-fashioned today, but at the time this was somewhat revolutionary in that we were very much keen on our ethos to maximise opportunities to students, in particular with regards to gender. And we were the first university to admit women to our degree in the UK system. Got a nice little picture there. So, University of London. I just got my visa for Russia actually on Thursday last week in the afternoon and boarded a flight Thursday evening. On my visa it says Russian Federation, which I believe is the full title of this great country. So this word federation, that's exactly what the University of London is. It's a sort of umbrella term, a collective term for many of our member institutions. So LSE is a member of University of London. We belong to the University of London. I'm sure you may recognise some of these great names. Of course, this one is the best. I'm biased, but right. But we are all members of UOL. And indeed, we are all located within London, although this one is a little bit to the outside of London. And so within London itself, there's a high concentration of top universities. So we talk about this idea of a federation. The LSE itself, facts and figures. We're number 2 in the world. Damn you, Harvard. Number 1. But yeah, 2 is good. 2 is very good. Very good. However, one should put this into some context. The full name of the LSE is the London School of Economics and Political Science. Many people sort of forget the and political science component. Now, we are a specialist university. We only deal in the social sciences. What does that mean? Disciplines such as economics, finance, management, mathematics, statistics, law. But we don't do things like science, for example. Biology, chemistry, physics, we don't offer it. Literature, music, things like that, we don't offer. So universities such as Harvard, say, will offer the full range of disciplines. So as a specialist university, ranked number 2 in the world, we're very proud of that. Yay, Nobel Prize winners, 18 and counting. I am not one of these, okay, but I'm young-ish, and I hope one day to get something, Nobel for something. World leaders, past and present, 36 and counting. I'm sure many other universities may boast more than these numbers. Chicago in the US springs to mind. However, taking into account the size of LSE as a proportion, this is extremely impressive. We are one of the most competitive universities to gain admission to in the whole of the UK. Indeed, for every 1 seat in the lecture halls at the LSE, there will be approximately 12 applicants chasing that 1 seat. These are all excellent candidates, very strong academic backgrounds. We would love to take every single student, however, we just have limited space to do so. So why is there such demand for an LSE education? In part, you're looking at the destinations of these students. Where do they go on to work? This is not an exhaustive list. Tamara mentioned some great names in her presentation. The LSE graduates themselves, investment banking, say, more public sector, Bank of England. My hotel is right opposite the Bank of Russia, I discovered last night. So central banking, NGOs, United Nations, Microsoft, etc. And why do these top employers employ our graduates? Because they know that they've received a high quality education and are ready to solve the challenges they will face in the workplace. My parents? No, not real. But they're quasi-parents. These are our founding fathers and mother of the LSE. We were founded in 1895, so we are a fairly recent addition to University of London. UOL is older than the LSE. But like all great universities, we have a logo and we have a motto, a mission statement, what it is we are meant to do. And indeed, we like to go for Latin in academia. It sounds intelligent if we use Latin. Rerum cognoscere causis. So this is our mission statement, what we try and do all day. And to simplify it, the translation in English, I won't attempt the Russian yet, to understand the causes of things. That was the goal in 1895. Fast forward to today, 2019, I think we have a much better understanding of the world around us than we did in 1895. Better understanding, yes. Done. Complete understanding, niet. I've learnt those as well. So our work is not done. However, our academics, some going on to get those Nobel Prizes, they are conducting research to have a better understanding of the world around us. Why, for example, Brexit? Why did the UK vote to basically divorce from the EU? Well, whether we ultimately do, that's still a lot of uncertainty there. Who knows? But why did the UK choose, as a majority of those who voted, to do so? We still don't have a full understanding. 2008, there was a big financial crisis. very few people saw that coming. Indeed, some of the great and the good in academia failed to predict it. So we're trying to get a better understanding of the world around us. The good news, though, is that the latest research our academics do feeds into the teaching, feeds into the subject matter that students learn. So a little bit more about the international programs element of LSE. So I mentioned we were a member institution. I would say this bullet point is especially important. We love acronyms in academia. Okay. Economics, management, finance, social sciences. It's like a collective term for the disciplines we offer through teaching centres globally. These reflect, so there is parity, there is equivalence between the materials taught in the programme here and what is taught in the lecture halls at the LSE. Indeed, this is our main entrance. In my role, I do get to travel extensively to our teaching centres, and I can confirm that just in the last few weeks, it's exam season now, and the revision lectures I was doing at LSE about 2-3 weeks ago, as they go into their exams, we were covering the same examples as I was conducting in revision lectures for students through our international programs worldwide. Numbers: 12 applicants chasing each place at LSE. We are a very small university by size. We don't have much space. We have about 4,000 undergraduate students at the LSE across all degree programs and all years of study. That's as many as we can accommodate. Through our international programs, we get to offer the same education at a much greater scale, at about 21,000 students in pretty much all corners of the world. So, indeed, in terms of the logos here, HSE, UOL, LSE at the end, and above the LSE logo, it says academic direction. This is an interesting term, and I'd like to try and demystify it. What does it mean? Academic direction. Well, LSE academics, myself and many of my colleagues, we design the learning materials, the curriculum, the syllabi that students study. But when we do this, we are very mindful about what we teach internally at the LSE and ensure there is equivalence, parity, equality between what we teach internally and what students learn through our international programs. So it's not just designing the study materials. What matters a great deal is assessment. The value of a degree is dependent on the reputation of that degree certificate and the reputation of the awarding university. All degrees are not equal. So to gain a strong reputation of the degree certificate, we need a rigorous, demanding assessment process. So the examinations, LSE academics, we write the exam papers. We set the questions that students sit worldwide. And we set questions of the same level as those on our internal exams. They're not exactly the same question paper, just because the exams are sat on slightly different dates. But the level of difficulty and rigour of the exams the same on our internal exams as through our international ones. And then the marking. Wow, every exam needs to be graded. And it's the LSE academics themselves who do the grading. So right now, last week, this week, into next week, it's exam season. So I say May, June, it's mainly May. Students sit their examinations locally. They don't fly to London to do so. They sit their exams locally under the auspices, the guidances of some third party, usually the British Council. They sort of administer the exams. So students sit the exams locally. These get then couriers sent, flown to London. And then LSE academics have a fun summer. May, June, July, early August, marking. 21,000 students taking on average 4 courses a year, 84,000 exam scripts. In reality, it's a bit more than that because we have some half-unit courses. Let's say 90,000 scripts. Each script will be marked by 2 LSE personnel, so 180,000 markings of scripts. It's a huge logistical exercise, but necessary to ensure the quality of the grading and hence the quality of the final degree certificate. Opportunities, yay! Not an exhaustive list, just a few key highlights. LSE Summer School, it happens in the summer. In between all of the grading of scripts. Opportunities to go as an international program student to LSE and experience LSE directly. I spoke about acronyms, we love them in academia. LSE, London School of Economics. Also, let's see Europe. Because some treat the summer school as a sort of holiday opportunity, but under the pretext that they're doing some study. Let's see Europe. Good news. If you do this, you qualify for a 15% loyalty discount on the LSE summer school. How amazing is that? 3 weeks intense study. If you do 1 session, up to a maximum of 3 sessions, 9 weeks in London. Just as an aside, I did a summer school presentation to our teaching centre in Singapore a few months ago. And at the end was a Q&A, question and answer session. Now, generally in the large crowd, they were quite reserved and didn't ask questions in front of everyone else. But at the end, one by one, individually, they came up to ask a question. And I'm clearly ready to field questions on pretty much anything. Well, I was asked one question which I did not expect. The student, she came up, she said, Dr. James, I said, what's your question? I'd like to go to summer school this year, 2019, but my mother is concerned. Concerned? Why? She said, well, will it be safe? I said, safe? She said, yeah, you know, Brexit. Brexit, safe? I couldn't make the connection. But it seemed that the student's mother had been reading the media reports and seemed to have a very negative view of Brexit, and it seemed to be the impression that the UK would turn into some sort of war zone with Brexit taking place. And social order would collapse. And I did not expect this question. So I had, though, to give an answer. Now, this was a few months ago before we were planning to leave back in March, and so would have affected this year's summer school. So I said, I don't know. You know, to understand the courses of things, who knows? I don't know how it will turn out. But tell your mother this. There's always going to be some good news. Either A, social order will not collapse in the UK, and it will be perfectly safe to visit. So tell your mother that's what we hope for. On the downside, flip side, if it does turn out to be a really bad Brexit, and it is a war zone as your mother seems to predict, that means the GBP, pound sterling, is going to collapse, so the exchange rate will collapse, and it will be very cheap to go and study in the LSE summer school. So either expensive but safe, or cheap but dangerous. But there's a plus in all of this. Okay? And even for you, the University of London fees component, that's charged in GBP. So keep your fingers crossed for a bad Brexit, the exchange rate collapses, and you make a saving. Great stuff. LSE General Course, the year at LSE. Spend a whole academic year at the LSE. It's a competitive entry process, but you enroll for 4 courses and you would do them as part of the degree program structure. After the degree, postgrad opportunities, master's study. Okay. Increasingly, students decide they love exams so much that they want more exams after they finish their degree and go on and wish to pursue a master's degree. And indeed, because of the UOL reputation, this would put your application a very strong application. I personally know of several students for example, from Hong Kong, Singapore, through our international programs, who studied our degrees, and then have gone on to study their masters at the LSE itself. But of course, not just the LSE, although it's a top university, but our degree certificates will be widely recognised and welcomed at your leading universities worldwide. Recognise this lady? Who is she? Her Majesty the Queen. Indeed, indeed, indeed. It's a bit of a royal theme going to appear in this presentation now. LSE has lots of buildings. We're small, but we do have lots of buildings. They're just quite small buildings. 11 years ago, 2008, we had a new building. And like any building, it has to be opened by someone. You need a celebrity. I don't know how you book the Queen to open things. I'm not that well connected, but some people at the LSE were. And there's a little curtain she pulls to officially open the building. This was November 2008. A few days after Lehman Brothers collapsed. And there was a big fear that the global economy was on a cliff edge and it could get even worse. So Her Majesty, at the time she was opening this building, she asked a question to the leading academics on economics, finance, and others who were there to do the meat ingredient. How do you do? How do you do? How do you do? She asked a question. She said, so, why did none of you see the financial crisis coming? Now, to be fair, that was an excellent question. No doubt on the minds of many people around the world. The biggest economic financial crisis since perhaps the 1930s, say. Why would these so-called experts, didn't they see it coming? A few did, but they were in the minority. And it goes to show that, well, the academics thought about it. They thought about it for a long time, from November to June. There's a slightly long response lag there. But they came up with an answer, because at the time they couldn't give an answer. It was, I don't know. They thought about it. By June, they had decided what the answer was. So the reason why, ladies and gentlemen, we did not foresee the financial crisis coming is because the world is complicated. That was basically the answer. Of course, scroll forward to 2019, I think we have a slightly better understanding, perhaps, of the causes of the crisis. Can we predict the next one? There will be another one. Tomorrow, next week, next month, next year, 10 years from now. Of course, the timing of these things are very, very difficult indeed. This thing, the degree certificate sample. Okay. But this is what you would be working towards. I have a prop here, and I want you to view this degree certificate. Ta-da! It's like a passport. This is mine. It still says European Union on it for now. There you go. This is effectively the equivalent of a passport. A passport to a very bright future. Let's analyse. I love analysis. Let's analyse the degree certificate. University of London, the awarding body. The organisation issuing the degree certificate. How well you can read it from where you're sat, but it talks about having passed the examinations conducted by the LSE. So I want your name to appear here. I want Bachelor of Science to appear here. I want first class honours to appear here. It's not just getting this piece of paper. What matters is the marks you achieve in these examinations, and that does matter a great deal to employers, masters, admissions officers, among others. I want first class honours, the top classification appearing here, and I want in data science and business analytics to appear. And whoever the vice chancellor is at the time will sign it. A royal theme. You knew the Queen. Well done. Know this one? So this is a harder one. This is Princess Anne, the Queen's daughter. Okay? The Queen had 4 children, 3 boys, 1 girl, grown up now. Princess Anne is the Chancellor of the University of London. It's the ceremonial figurehead. And you would have the opportunity, you can have not just 1 graduation, but 2. One here in Moscow, and you would have the right to go to London and walk in front of Princess Anne at a big graduation ceremony in London. Just a few final words, and happily open it up to question and answer. So the degree itself, data science and business analytics. That's why you're here. Good news, this is a brand new degree program. Brand new in multiple respects. Brand new here at HSE, brand new for UOL LSE, really brand new at the global level. The field of data science, business analytics, what does it mean? Many definitions we could provide. I'll give a nice one I like is think about it as allowing data-driven decision making. So making decisions, but not based on gut instinct or judgment, opinions, but based on fact, based on data. Clearly with the business in the title there, these tend to be more business-related examples that we'll be working with. Now, this is very much a new field. You will find a fair number of master's programs in this area, but undergraduate, bachelor's provision is very limited. It's at the start. It will grow, it will grow. But to our knowledge, I think we are one of the world's, if not the world's first, at least quality degree program in this field. And why have we created this degree? Well, we care about demand. Because universities, rightly, care about the destinations of its students. It's not just to let them learn lots of abstract theory, which they're never going to use in the real world out there. It's to prepare them for the jobs they will go into. Fun fact, it's been said, I think it was Ernst & Young, published a report, I think about a year ago, they said that in 5 years' time, I think 9% of the jobs in 5 years' time don't yet exist. That was a year ago. This dual degree is a 4-year program. If you were to start this coming September, October, 4 years, that's about that 5-year time frame. It could be your first jobs don't actually exist yet, because the world is ever changing. However, I think we can be pretty confident that the skill set required for the jobs of the future are going to be require strong analytical skills. Now, of course, it won't stop there in 5 years' time. The world will be ever changing. It always has been, but the pace of change is much greater. So analytical skills, one of the key things employers are crying out for, huge demand. Industries, we've seen a few company examples. Frankly, with this degree, the sector you work in is limited by your imagination. Finance, asset management, money. Pharmaceuticals, looking at the efficacy, the effectiveness of new drugs which are developed. Retail sector. So if you think about e-retailers, I'll take a Chinese example, which I think is the best one globally. Alibaba. Heard of that one? Okay. So in China, they have something called Singles Day. I've been told from tomorrow that Valentine's Day is quite a big thing here in Russia. Valentine's Day. Yeah, lovely, it's nice. Well, Singles Day in China, it's like the opposite of Valentine's Day. It's held on 11 November. So 11/11, 1111, singles. The idea being, if you are not happy married or in some relationship, don't be depressed, go shopping. It's a commercial sort of festival in China. It's quite new. I think it started about 2010, 2011. But it's been more successful year by year. 2018, the last Singles Day, the last November 11th, the most recent one we've had. In 24 hours, do you know how much in the way of sales Alibaba achieved in 24 hours? In US dollars. Would someone like to have a guess as to how much sales Alibaba achieved in 24 hours in US dollars? Just a rough figure.
A billion?
1 billion US dollars. That is a huge amount of money. It's a ridiculous estimate. $1 billion? No. I don't know.
Chinese people, they're like more than a billion.
Well, I know there are a lot of Chinese people, that's very true. That's true. But still, $1 billion in just one day?
At least one of them buys a dollar product.
It's a big number. It's a very big number. Clearly, it was not $1 billion. Nowhere near. That's it. It was about, give or take, I think it was about $35 billion. Come on. Yeah. In 24 hours, plus minus a bit, it was 30-something billion dollars. In 24 hours. Clearly, Alibaba, Jack Ma, very, very happy. Why? Not just because of all of this sales which were generated, which clearly was a good thing, lots of money coming in. I'm sure some get sent back and returned, but still a lot of sales. They loved it because of the data generated in that 24 hours. If we were to monetize the value of that data, could even be of a similar order of magnitude. And Alibaba right now has huge numbers of data scientists going through all of this information. Not just what was bought, but who bought it, where they were, other things they were looking at, other products, customers who bought this also bought that, how long they spent on a particular page. Did they know what they wanted to buy and immediately went to the checkout? Did they take their time, put something in, out, indecisive? In short, they are using artificial intelligence to mine this information and predict sort of probabilities. For example, imagine they were selling this pen. Each of us in this room, we're unique. Okay? And some of us might be more willing to buy this pen than others. So Alibaba will estimate probabilities that you would buy this pen, you. But of course they don't just sell a pen, they sell lots of things. And they can work out probabilities for all of these. And then recommend to you through marketing, emails, etc. Products they think you want to buy. Are they perfect at this? No, but I think they're the world's leaders at the moment, e-retail. Software, computing, this degree has not an exhaustive list, but some of the software packages you would be exposed to. My last slide, then we'll open to Q&A. I'm sure you can read this in the excellent literature, but this is our 3-year degree program structure. So in 4 years, year 1 is HSE only. From the second year, you begin in parallel with HSE studies, your UOL studies. A mixture of economics, mathematics, management, statistics, information systems. It's not a single discipline area. It's interdisciplinary. And we want students to get exposed to multiple subject areas. Some courses are a bit theoretical, but many applied. For example, this one here. Data visualization, bringing data to life, lots of fancy graphics. And understanding the causes of things, understanding the data, looking for trends, patterns, relationships, ultimately allowing better decision making, be it in finance, pharmaceutical, public sector, you name it. As usual, some choice in the final year, so you can tailor your degree to your specific interests. You'll be taught by local faculty here at HSE, and you are given excellent profiles of them earlier. This is my first trip, but by no means my last trip to Russia, and we are discussing the frequency of visits that I get to return to HSE and give special lectures to students through their degree program. Well, I suppose that sort of concludes my sort of part of the presentation. This is an open day, and we very much open the floor to any questions that you have, and we will do our best to answer them. Let's proceed.
У кого есть вопросы, давайте, пожалуйста, задавайте. То есть я буду переводить с русского на английский. Будем задавать на английском.
Yep. So, what's the average pay grade of the student?
average pay grade of these students?
Oh, but very, very good question. For our international programs, we don't have the full figures. I'll take NSE as a reference example. We do. NSE, out of all UK universities, the median salary, which is the main metric we tend to use, is the highest of all UK universities. Figure, oh gosh, it was about £45,000 sterling annual salary a few years after graduation. That's a median figure. It doesn't mean that everyone is earning that. Some graduates will go into more public sector roles, traditionally far lower paid. The private sector ones, the banking, finance sector, one can even think about adding maybe a zero to those pay packets. So why do NSE graduates earn the highest salaries? Because supply and demand. Employers demand our graduates more than others, and in a market-based economy, supply and demand is resolved through the price, i.e. the salaries that you get. Of course, it's not just where you go to university. What also matters is what you study, okay? And frankly, a quantitative degree, which this very much is, from a leading university. Now you've got the best of both worlds. You are taking a purely qualitative degree, and no disrespect to qualitative disciplines, very interesting they are too, but the reward you get, well, it's the quants with the analytical skills far higher rewarded. I'm sure Alibaba pays very high salaries to its top data scientists.
Thank you. Еще вопросы? No more questions, I guess.
The UK will be safe if you go for summer school. Fingers crossed.
Okay. So, no more questions. Thank you very much, James, for your vigorous presentation.
Okay, if I may just close on one final point, if I may. Obviously, thank you very much for coming to this event. Clearly, you have a very important decision to make. And I want you, if you take nothing else away from this session, please take this away. A degree is not just for 3, or in the dual degree case here, for 4 years. It's not just for that. Your degree choice, your degree is going to stay with you for life. Let's go back to that little certificate. Okay? Because you get 2 if you do this, 2 for 1, HSE and UOL. Maybe 3/4 years of study, but where you go and what you study, that will be on your CV, on your resume for life. You can't go back and change where your degree came from. And it is a very important decision to make, not to be taken quickly, and it's excellent. It's a fruto that you are coming to events like this to collect data, to collect information, to allow you to make a more informed decision. But please take away that in this decision-making process, what matters is the quality of the university, what you study, the discipline, and frankly, the more quantitative subjects you do, the far more employable you are going to be. And that's why I strongly recommend this dual degree program. You will be in a world where demand from employers for people with strong skills is up here, the supply is down here. Supply is going to increase year by year, but demand is going to far outstrip supply. Coming back to the pay packet question, Economics 101, when demand exceeds supply, the price goes up. Of course, the price we're talking about here is that salary, income you can command. So these are clearly important, life-changing decisions you are about to make. So if you do have any other follow-up questions after today, please do get in touch with the excellent staff here at HSE and get those queries resolved, because we want you, most sincerely, to make the best decisions possible. And my last closing remark, a little more Russian, as you make this decision, okay, I just want to wish you collectively all one thing in this decision-making process. Удачи всем. That's all the Russian I know.